it's so fundamentally critical. I mean, it was really the number one issue we all campaigned on. We see what it happened, what it did to so much of America, what it did to so many communities, and honestly, what it did to so many of the low-income communities in this country where people were just sweeping those jobs, and ultimately everyone's potential American dream was getting wiped away. And so the big, beautiful bill, the funding of the wall, the funding of ICE is so fundamentally important to actually getting these things done, right? We saw what we could do about just the border itself. But now you have 20 million people probably. I imagine they don't even know. Just getting in there, they're getting all the benefits. You know, the benefits that you guys pay for yourselves, that your parents probably paid for all of you guys. They get that with no contribution to the system. And that was by design under the Biden administration. So to have the funding to start the mass deportations, but more importantly, the parts of the bill that literally cut off all of the freebies that were just draining our coffers, but more importantly, were a calling card to the rest of the world. Be like, you know, come here, we'll give you everything. You know, the health care that you got gets diluted because you get to pay for thousands of others, millions of others, tens of millions of others, who will likely never even pay into the system. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in any other country, and there's a reason no other country was doing it. So, you know, that was a fundamental aspect of the big, beautiful bill, to now actually have the funding to do this. And it was sort of amazing to me how much even reluctance there was from so many, you know, allegedly on our side. It was just, well, it's just controversial. You're gonna have to deport someone. You know, listen, there's gonna be good people that this happens to too, but there are millions of criminals, and this is Joe Biden's ICE. I mean, when I saw the statistics, I literally couldn't believe that a civilization could survive when you know, our Western values, our culture, the civilization itself, when they literally admitted, and you know, this is Biden ICE stats, so this is probably diluted a lot, but 600,000 criminals, 13,000 murderers. I mean, think about that. 13,000 murderers were let into the country. They knew they were murderers, and they let them into the country. 16,000 rapists. Okay, add those together, you got what, 30,000, let's call it, 30,000 murderers and rapists. There's about 4,000 counties in America. Imagine you spread them out, you know, evenly throughout that. Yeah, we'll throw 7 murderers or rapists into every county in America. How's that gonna work? What's the end game there? And that's what was going on.
The end game is Lake and Riley. And the end game is Rachel Morin, which is dead people all across the country because of the open border.
Yeah. So, you know, that has to stop. They got to get rid of that. And they have to also, you know, do a lot more, because they have to enable the Americans to have a chance. We have to be able to innovate, grow, be productive enough to create the wages necessary in a lot of these businesses that Americans will actually work there. We've seen what happens when some of these places, oh, it's going to be a disaster. Oh, wow, there's a line of Americans ready to do some of these jobs.